Hi, this is Kim. Today we're continuing our bodice fitting series with all kinds of bust adjustments for that perfect fitting shirt. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. Thank you so much for joining me today. It really means a lot that you take time out of your day to watch my videos. I really appreciate it. So we have been doing a series on bodice fitting, and this is the third installment in this series. And this one is on bust adjustments. It's probably the most requested topic of any sewing vlogger. I think that people freeze up and think that it's really hard, and it indeed is not hard to do at all. So I'm going to show you two methods. First one is for wovens and garments with darts. Second is for knits and a dartless FBA, if you will. So I'm going to demonstrate these to you, and I'm going to show you what to do if you have a full bust or if you have a small bust. So the first thing you're going to need to know is, do I need a full bust adjustment? So back when we started this series, the first thing we did was measurements, and we did a high bust and a full bust measurement. Now, if the difference between these two measurements is more than 4 inches, then you're going to need a full bust adjustment. So that would be the key. Now, some patterns have them built in, which is absolutely wonderful. And usually when they do that, they're doing about a 2-inch difference between the normal standard bust size and the larger bust size. But I'm going to show you how to do it yourself, just in case that pattern does not include an automatic one. So if this is the first time watching me, the sewing community is very important to me. So I like to give back in whatever way I can. We do have a little bit of fellowship on our Facebook group and on our Sunday chats, but we also get real serious here on the channel and do tutorials, pattern reviews, anything that you need to cover. I try to stay really on top of what you guys are asking me to do. All right, this bodice fitting series was highly requested, so here we go, and this is number 3, and I think there'll probably be about 5 or 6 parts to this one. All right, so if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and it would really help me out if you click that like button or share it with one of your friends. It really does help the algorithm and gets my videos out in front of more people, so I really appreciate any of you that subscribe to my channel. So take a moment and do that if you'd like to see more. So you might be wondering, how much should you do? So let's say your upper bust was 40 inches and your full bust was 45 inches, okay? So then you would need about a 1-inch addition to the pattern, okay? So usually you're working on a folded front or a half front anyway. So you're going to want to divide it into 2 so that it's on 2 pieces or 2 halves. So you would do a 1/2 inch on the pattern piece. All right, so most of the ones that are done for you are 1 inch. That ends up being a 2-inch difference in the measurement, which is pretty close to average, I'd say. But if it's more, you certainly can do more, and many people have to. Mine is usually about 3/4 of an inch that I need to do. So it just depends. It's very personal. And the other measurement that you're going to want to bring with you that you have found already in this course is, when we did the darts last time, we found the apex. So you want to make sure that you have your apex so that you know exactly what you're targeting when you create or extend your dart. All right, so I'm going to go straight to the tutorials and show you how I go about these, and then I'll come back and talk to you at the end. So first things first, I'm putting this on colored paper so that you can see it better. I'm working with a miniature pattern here. All right, so in the first couple videos, the first thing we did was our measurements, and we found out whether or not we needed an FBA. The second thing we did was we made sure our apex was in the right place by either lowering the dart or whatever we needed to do. So you want to mark your apex, all right? Then the next thing you want to do is you want to draw a line through the apex to the center of the dart. because if you're going to do a full bust adjustment, you're going to need to open that dart up more, okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw another line somewhere along the arm side, okay? So you're going to just draw that up to the arm side, all right? You want to mark your seam allowance there because you need to do a pivot point, okay? So the other thing you're going to do is you're going to do a perpendicular to the grain line straight down the center of your pattern piece, okay? First thing you're going to do then is you're going to cut up this line that you created up your pattern piece. To the apex, and then you're going to pivot that line and go all the way to where you marked the seam allowance, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to also go from the outside to the seam allowance, but don't go through. Just leave a pivot point there, all right? So that you have something you can pivot here, okay? Then the next thing you want to do is you want to cut from the center of the dart to, but not through, the apex. You need to leave a little bit there so you can move, okay? So if you've determined how much of a full bust adjustment you need, what you'll do is you'll tape this down, tape this part down, so that something is sort of anchored. Swing that out of the way for a second. All right, and then you're going to just pivot this out until you get the amount that you need, okay? So let's say it was 1 inch, and obviously this is not to scale, but let's say that was 1 inch, and then you would just pivot that out so that there'd be 1 inch here, okay? Obviously that would be a 2-inch difference in the bust measurement, all right? So then you would just tape that down. Now you can also use this one on a stable knit, depending on the fabric. There are easier ones to do on knits, but if you have a very large bust adjustment, then you might want to use this method on a knit as well. All right, so there is your new dart. So you'll cut this pattern out. You'll just draw new legs here for the dart, and you'll just true up this as well. All right, now you notice it kind of gets pulled down a little bit, so you're going to need to go ahead and bring this, the bottom won't line up anymore, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lower this down to where it belongs and just true that up. All right, and that is a full bust adjustment. Okay, now let's say you are smaller and you need a small bust adjustment, which that does happen. So what? Okay, so first you would just mark how far over you need to bring it to make it smaller, and then you would just swing that in, make this smaller. All right, like so, keeping your arm side the same. Same process as what we just did, only you're swinging it in instead of out, okay? And then you would just make new dart. Your new dart would be smaller. It would look something like this. Okay, so it would be much smaller. Correct. So then you would just true up your lines, and then you would also fix the bottom by extending this and curving that around to meet the other side. Okay, that would be your small bust adjustment. Simple. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do a full bust adjustment on a knit in a kind of quick cheater way. All right, you're going to want to find your apex. I'm just going to kind of cheat here and put it somewhere, but basically you could hold the pattern piece up to you and find where it is, or you could use your measurements, or however you need to do. Just find your apex, okay? So find your apex. And then you're just going to go ahead and you're just going to draw a line, horizontal line right through your apex, okay? And you're going to mark these points above, an inch above and an inch below, something like that. It doesn't have to be real exact, okay? So then you're just going to go ahead and cut this on that horizontal line that you just made. Okay? And you're going to spread it apart. I usually probably would do an inch. Just depends on how much room you need. You can't really do a whole lot more than that without needing to do the old-fashioned full bust adjustment. And then just line it up, all right, and you've got your extra length here that you need. All right, so what you're going to do then is you're just going to bubble this out, and you can kind of just, I don't know, you just have to eyeball it, but just a little bit, you know, just draw a little arc out like that, okay? And then true up that line. And that is a quick full bust adjustment on a knit. And believe me, that's all you probably will need. The reason we marked these is because you need notches, okay? So you're going to measure down how far down you put that notch, and then from there to there, plus there to there, how far down the other notch was, and then you're going to mark your back piece so that you can ease the extra in between the notches on the back. And that is a knit full bust adjustment. Now you would not do a small bust adjustment on a knit. T-shirts are forgiving enough that it's not usually necessary. So that is how to do some quick full bust, small bust, and knit full bust adjustments. I sure hope that cleared up some things for you. Please feel free to ask questions in the comments, or you can email me, dorothy'sdaughter1957@gmail.com. It's down in the description. If you'd like to join our Facebook group, it's Dorothy's Daughter Community. We would love to have you. Just go ahead and fill out the membership questions. Make sure you answer them, because there is no other way that I can know that you're not a bot. I need to keep our group safe for everyone, so please go ahead and answer the questions, or at least a couple of them, and then I can let you in the group, no problem. Have a fantastic day. I hope your sewing adventures are fun this week. In the next video, I'm going to do a pattern review on the Clio culottes from Sinclair, and I've got some other goodies coming up as well. The next bodice fitting video will be on shoulder adjustments. So have a fantastic day. Happy sewing.